We're here at one of my house flips where we just spent $150,000 on renovating. Now this is actually part two of this house. In part one, I had my student Chris Vasquez here. He was the one who found the deal and we're partnering with him on it. And we walked through this thing when it was all beat up. There was nothing on the inside and now it's done. So let's go check out the before and after so you can see what happened. All right, so this is actually my first time seeing this home since that video and I really like how it turned out. To give you a quick recap of this deal, my student Chris Vasquez found it. He's in Phoenix, Arizona, and he doesn't really flip in Vegas. It was just a deal that kind of fell on his lap, and he said, hey Ryan, how about you guys fund it, you guys fix it up and all that stuff, and we'll partner on it. And I said, great. Well, he got a really good deal. We bought this house for $350,000, which is very cheap in today's market, and really cheap when you consider that it's almost 2,800 square feet, it's on half an acre, it's got a pool and all this stuff. The only problem was it was in really rough shape, and so we had to put, $150,000 to get it fixed up. But with what we did, I really like how it turned out. The kitchen is our pretty standard kitchen. We switched it up for this house with the countertops. I can't say I'm necessarily a fan of these gray ones. If I had to guess, I'm probably assuming they were out of stock on the typical white countertop that we do. And so we were probably forced to use this, which is a very common thing in house flipping and just homes in general right now. The lead times on materials are so long in many cases that you just have to adjust. And so whenever I go to my house flips, I can see things where they're not our normal, standard, but they're good enough. And my guess is there was probably a supply issue. So, I think it looks great either way. We'll have the fridge right there. And now this whole area is nice and open. If you've been following my luxury flips, we've been recently staging all of these homes. This one we chose not to stage just because the area is not the greatest, even though when you see what we're selling this thing for, you'll be like, wow, that's a lot of money for not a great area. The market is just heating up so much that it just kind of is what it is. But I don't feel like we needed to stage this home. Just with the price point in this area. But I like the layout. At some point, I'm guessing this was a garage just from how I'm seeing it. If I had to guess, the garage door was probably right here because the driveway's on the other side. And you probably came in here and had a nice 2-car garage, but at some point, one of the owners converted it and now it's this kind of bonus room, which is cool. I think having 2 living rooms and everything else looks nice. We added in this fireplace, and I think the fireplace looks great. Personally, this is just me nitpicking. I didn't do any of the renovation, but I'm not a fan of like these little fireplaces like this. This is only like 6-8 inches. Typically we like to make them at least a foot because it just makes the fireplace feel bigger. So I would have liked to see that, but it's not a huge deal. Now, another thing about this house that was interesting was this area. So in part one, I explained that this definitely didn't exist. This used to be a covered patio. The reason I can tell that is you could see the roof line, the slope. Now, when we bought it, you could see like the plywood and all that stuff. And it was obvious. This used to be part of the covered patio. And for me as a flipper, I always look for that stuff because a lot of times the square footage on those parts aren't accounted for. So, for instance, I don't know the exact story of this house, but this might have been a 2,400 square foot home or something like that. And all of a sudden, they weren't counting this because it never maybe got permitted or it maybe never, was just finalized or whatever the case may be. But for us to get the additional square footage for a home, all we have to do is have the county come out and show them that, hey, like this is living space now. This is how big the home is. And they will update the square footage of the home. So that's one little tip for you guys with getting your square footages updated. You don't always necessarily need to go permit it, especially if you're not the one who even did it. We bought it like this. And the county on their side will give it to you because they just want to get higher taxes. If you tell them your house is bigger, that means they can charge more taxes, so they're happy to do it. So quick tip for you guys. But overall, we ended up clearing it out. It's gonna be a nice bedroom. It's got its own bathroom, and it's separated from the rest of the house. So it's kind of like a dual master now. You got a master over here and a master on that side of the home. So, let's talk about the home in general and like finishes and all that stuff. For us, if you've been following me for a while, then you know that the majority of our houses kind of look the same. I mean, we've got gray or white walls typically. We usually got like some very light brown, maybe grayish, laminate or LVT flooring. And the cabinets are always these white shakers with black handles. And I mean, for the most part, the reason I don't do like a ton of household videos is because I'd be talking about the same thing every time. There's like not that much different about what we do, but that's a good thing. It means that we've got a system. We don't have to think about it and make more decisions. The more things you can automate in your business, the better, right? If you let people or humans think about every little decision, like they would get worn out, they'd get tired, and it would make your business inconsistent. So the more you can automate and just make streamlined, the better. I mean, McDonald's didn't get to where they're at today because they changed the Big Mac every state they're in, right? The Big Mac is the same no matter where you go. And it's been that way for a really long time because once you have a winner, you don't change. And so we've literally been using this scheme, I would say, for like 5 years now. We haven't had to change. There's no point, But my TV commercials that I hold here in Las Vegas, right? I've been running the same exact TV commercial where I say, I want to buy your house for 2+ years now. I've never refilmed it. I've never changed it because it still works. So we won't change it until it stops working. We won't change our designs until they stop selling. And I can tell you, at least as of now, it's not showing any signs of stopping. So that's the quick rant on design. Now, let's go see the rest of these bedrooms and talk about some different things that we've got going on in this house. All right, so over on this side of the house, you've got 2 guest bedrooms, which share this bathroom. And then you've got the master bedroom all the way at the end. I think, personally, this house is gonna sell because it has 2 masters. I know a lot of people don't necessarily want their master near other guest bedrooms, right? So if somebody wanted to, go stay in that master instead, be away from everything, they've got the ability to do that. Or maybe an in-law is gonna stay over there or something and they'll be at this master. So I think that's gonna be a great selling point. We've got a closet over here, and I'll tell you, this is actually a weird part that I thought about when we bought it. It was built like this with the bathroom over here, the closet over here, and then like this dead space. It's kind of weird that this is here. It wasn't very good planning. In an ideal world, what you would want to have is this going all the way across, and then you walk in, and it's a big bathroom, and you enter the closet within the bathroom, and then it eliminates all this dead space. That's what, if I was living here, I would have totally made that change, but for all intents and purposes, it's not a huge deal. I mean, somebody could definitely go put a makeup vanity here or something, and it will then have purpose, but it just, for us, as far as the budget goes, it wasn't worth trying to go move this bathroom around. We've already got the vanities, we've already got this nice shower over here, and you could tell like it was built kind of funky because this is still, once again, like dead space. So if I were to think about this in terms of me, I would have just scrapped this whole bathroom, connected everything, and then I would have played with it and said, okay, how big of a bathroom do I want? How big of a closet do I want? What's more important to me? Maybe I want my own stand-up tub and a separate shower. Like if that was the case, you could have very easily used the space to get all of that. So, it is what it is. My point is, with flipping, you don't necessarily do it because you want it. You do it for what the end buyer and the market dictates. And so I don't think by doing all that, we would have really made that much more money with it, just because, you can't really push this area that far. It's, it has a cap to what you can make in this market. So that's why we didn't touch that, and let it be known for you, don't make everything just the way you would want it if you're flipping houses. Do it for what the market demands. All right, now before I show you the backyard, all these things we've been talking about in the house, about the assessor, about this master bathroom and how to have placed it, you know, the automation of all of our finishes. These are all things that we teach at Future Flipper. We teach our students how to build a business, how to build one and hire employees and build systems and processes so that these things can run without you. You know, this house is not something that I've worked on or I found the deal or I even funded it myself. We used our own lenders that my team has found. We didn't use any of my own money. We didn't find the deal. My student found the deal and our team fixed it up. You know, I haven't come to this house other than filming YouTube videos. And this is what I want for all my students. I want them to be able to build real businesses that consistently produce deals every single month. So if that sounds like something you want to do, if you want to build a house flipping business or a real estate investing business, a wholesaling business, we can definitely help you out at Future Flipper. So if you are interested, definitely go to futureflipper.com. Make sure you apply for a call with our team. We'll give you a free consultation, whether you work with us or not, and just let you know how we can help you. So go check it out. Now, the backyard, when we bought it, the pool was filled with a whole bunch of junk. It was really nasty, but you know, in the end, it wasn't that bad. You could see, you know, we just kind of cleaned it up and got it fixed up and now it looks great. We redid the deck. You know, that's a big tip. A lot of times people think they got to get all new decking when in reality, all they have to do is paint it and it will look good as new. And we ended up getting this turf all around the pool. Now, usually when it comes to landscaping in Vegas, we would not add a ton of landscaping because it's not really expected here. You know, most houses, they are gonna expect dirt and you're gonna be able to, you know, as the end buyer, put whatever you want. But we wanted to put some turf here because I think it gives it a nice look. I know behind me I have dirt, which is what I'm saying, but you know, if you just look at it from this vantage point, you've got this nice tree, you've got this rock bed, you got more turf over there. So, you know, if you're looking only this way, you're like, okay, this backyard looks pretty good. But as I mentioned, this is a half acre. So we're definitely not gonna landscape a half acre on a house flip. And, you know, to be honest, most people who are buying a half acre wanna do something themselves anyway. Like they have plans, that's why they want a half acre. You know, for me, my house that I live in now was a half acre. It had nothing in the back and I was happy because I wanted to put the pool where I wanted it, I wanted to put my basketball court where I wanted it and all that. My new house that I'm moving into that I've done some YouTube videos about also is a half acre with no yard done. And so we're putting the pool where we want again, we're putting turf, we're putting another basketball court. And so I personally as a buyer would rather have it that way. And most people looking for a lot of land also would rather have that. So we just kind of kept this area open for them to decide. You know, all this dirt, I don't know, whoever buys this, maybe they've got cars they want to put back here. Maybe they've, you know, want to make a basketball court. Maybe it's going to be a flower bed. Like, I don't know. Like this storage unit was already on the property. We're just keeping it here. You know, we just never know. The end buyer might want it. And if we get an offer where they say, hey, we don't want this anymore, you got to remove it. You know, if the price is right and they're the only offer, they're the best offer and it makes sense, then we'll remove it. But you never know. Somebody who buys this might want that. So I don't want to assume that we need to take it off if we don't. It might add value for somebody. So that's one thing to think about. Over here is what I was talking about with that garage conversion. I think at some point, a garage used to be right here. And you can kind of see like this driveway kind of funneled right here if you just look at the lines. I truly believe this was a garage. I don't think this fence was here. And this was all just kind of open. And then just to show you what I was talking about with that extra bedroom, you could see this is what it was. Like this plywood at the top right here was what was inside of the house as well. And, you know, they pretty much, I'm guessing, closed it off at some point and now it's all flush like what you see. So these are things you want to look for when you're flipping houses, because when you see something like that, where you get this hidden square footage that other people aren't accounting for, it adds a lot of value, especially if you're going on a price per square foot basis. I mean, think about it. If things were equal, and I'm not saying that you should just use price per square foot to define value. By no means do I teach that. But, you know, if this room right here was 300 square feet, and houses here are selling for 300 square foot. That means this room might add $100,000 of value if you're in the right market. So it's a lot of money just sitting here for something that may or may not be accounted for. So let's talk about the numbers on this home. We picked it up for $350,000. We put around $150,000 into the renovation of the home. We are gonna spend about $25,000 on commissions to realtors. We're gonna spend another $15,000 on closing costs. We're gonna have about $30,000 in all of our holding expenses with the hard money, with the taxes, the utilities, insurance, and all that stuff. So when you put all those numbers together, we're basically breaking even at $570,000. When we first filmed this video with my student Chris, we actually looked across the street at a property one of my friends was flipping. At the time, he was thinking he was gonna get $1 million for it, which would have set whole new comps. But even though he got an offer for $1 million, it did not appraise. And so he had to sell it for a lot less. His home ended up getting somewhere in the high 800,000s, but he had some things that we don't have. He had a bigger lot, it was about an acre, and overall his home was a bit more luxurious than this. Now, even though we are not gonna get the same price he got, having that comp directly across the street helps us tremendously because we shouldn't face any kind of appraisal issues now for this home. So with all that being said, we just listed this house for $790,000. And if we're able to get that list price, we'll make $220,000 in net profit between me and Chris. So it's not a bad payday, right? But I'll tell you, the beautiful part about this deal is that it's one that for most people would have never happened. You know, for most, Chris is a guy who's in Arizona. He doesn't really do deals in Vegas. For me, I wasn't looking for this deal. You know, his team found it. But by coming together, because we're both a part of Future Flipper, we're now able to go split a multi-six-figure profit. Like, that just doesn't really happen that often unless you're in the right places. So this is a big reason why I push Future Flipper so hard, because not only are you gonna learn how to flip houses like this and learn the systems and all of that stuff, but you're gonna also network with other people like Chris, like myself, like many of my other students that I've featured on my social media channels. Because in the end, I love doing deals with other people. It's how I do more deals. And my students love doing deals with each other. They've made millions of dollars together, whether they were the ones finding the deals, whether they're the ones helping them sell the deals or financing the deals. Like, in the end, if you collaborate around the right people and learn from them and joint venture together and partner together, you're gonna be able to do so much more than if you were doing it by yourself. So, like I said at the pool, if you're interested in joining our community and learning how to build your real estate investing business, definitely go to futureflipper.com, book a call with our team and get a free consultation. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, hope it inspires you. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.